I'm Ned Snow. I'm the marketing director at Intent School, and I'm here with Don Hester, our CAP instructor. Hi, Don.
Hi.
First off, maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, like you said, my name's Don Hester. I'm a Certified Information Systems Security Professional, Certified Information System Auditor, and CAP certified from ISC Squared. I've worked with a number of local and federal agencies, helping them implement certification and accreditation within their organizations.
Okay. Don, maybe you could tell us a little bit about this particular certification, the CAP.
Well, the CAP, that's a good point that you bring up, because a lot of people don't even know what the CAP is. So they'll see it on my business card and they're like,
Yeah.
What's CAP? Did you mean CPA? No, we didn't mean CPA,
Yeah.
it's CAP. And it's a certification and accreditation professional. And so it really focuses in on the certification and accreditation process in a general sense. So when you're in the DoD, you have a specific way of looking at certification and accreditation. If you're in a public agency, you use NIST to look at that. And this course covers both of those different areas. It really focuses in on that process and what people need to know if they're going to be on a team that's dealing with certification and accreditation at any level.
Now, so why would someone actually come to a CAP boot camp specifically?
Well, I've had a number of, well, one, they want to get the certification, obviously, that's the number one reason. But I find that most of my students are actually coming back to me and saying, you know what, I wish I had this class 3 years ago, because I started doing, certification and accreditation as a part of my job, but I never really understood the full, the way it should be done, and I never understood what everybody else's role was in this. And now that I can see the big picture, and I can actually go back to my office and actually, perform better, because I know better what is expected and what the whole process is.
So what you're saying is CAP actually provides them best practices and how they should go forth.
Right, exactly. And it's really good when you get a class and it's mixed with students with other different agencies. Yeah. We just finished up a class now where we had people from federal government agencies, local government agencies, and corporations. So certification and accreditation is not just necessarily for the federal government, but it's nice when you have that mix in there, because you can see how other people are doing it. And if you see how they're doing it, maybe you can take some of that information back to where you work. So it actually becomes a job aid too.
Great. Hey, just maybe a little bit about the teaching methodology, what the delivery's like in a typical CAP boot camp.
Well, this one's a tough one, because everybody's like, do you have any labs for this class? Well, there's no labs. It's a process, and we're going through a process, and the exam focuses on the certification and accreditation process. Yeah. From beginning to end. And so as the course goes through, we actually look at how you would implement from the beginning. If you're going to start a new certification accreditation process, how would you have to go through the process of setting it up and all that kind of stuff, all the way through all the life cycles of it. Even if you're in the middle of the life cycle, it's a good idea to see the whole life cycle. And so that's the way the course is delivered.
Mm-hmm. Now the students, prior to coming to class, they receive a pre-study?
Yes, they get a book that gets sent to them, which is the official ISC Squared's book for the certification and accreditation professional. Oh, okay. In addition to that, we give them access to NIST documents, study guides, our slide decks that we have produced, and all that information, including practice exams.
And again, the class, most of the folks are IT professionals. They've been in the business for years.
You actually get a wide variety. I've actually found that we've got a lot of people that have been in a recent class that IT is their ancillary job to what they're doing. They're, more of their job is related to they're a security manager or something for a system where they're not normally touching the system, but they're doing the documentation for the system. So it's not 100% IT in the way a lot of people think of it, but it's ancillary to IT. Definitely need the IT background, but.
And how do you feel about boot camp in general yourself, as a all-inclusive sort of package for folks to get the certification?
I've used that method before in the past, and I've been very successful. In fact, it's actually been quite a few years. But when I took my CISSP, I actually went to an Intent School class, and so that goes way back. But yes, so I'm definitely an advocate for it.
So you learn what Intent School, it is about. Of course, its name Intense, the amount of instruction they get, and the type of delivery. But also, I guess in your CISSP, you probably learned that we're not about just giving, say, a brain dump of material. We actually provide skills that you bring back and you can apply.
I try to make sure that all the students understand the reasons for why we're doing this. What is the reason behind certification and accreditation? Why is it a good process? And so when they understand the reasons for it, they buy in on it. Once they buy in on it, then they understand it deeper, and when they understand it deeper, they're more likely to pass the exam. I mean, really.
Right.
I mean, so
Right.
I want to get that depth of knowledge into the students.
And that's the depth of knowledge that they find, you know, if someone tried to self-study this particular exam, that they don't usually grasp on their own.
Well, some of the course materials that we have in here, some of the slides that we have in the class, I've actually had students come back and say, I need this up for my job. You know, it's because we go over some of the things like implementation detail, and I give them some sample wording just so they understand kind of what it looks like. And someone said, this is really good, I'm going to take it back to my job and actually use this. So so there's, it's depth, it has great depth.
Well, Don, I'd like to thank you for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.